cannot see we can't see the gold chart, but we can see the ladder. So here's a ladder, here's the tape. So look how different it looks from what silver looked earlier. This is on its way down. This is literally, liquidating right now. And you can see that we have a fast pape. It's not stalled, it's fast, but it's steady. Sometimes it stalls a little, but it's steady. And this thing, the ladder moves a lot, but keeps moving lower and lower, right? And we see a somewhat fast tape, but it's steady. Okay. And we're going to come into our first capitulation, which is into the 4,580s. So that's the first sort of target area, the first bottom, that's where we bounced in the pre-market, the one that you took when we were on the call. So we're waiting for this thing to flush into that area, and we're waiting to see some capitulation signs, and that we're going to see that on the time and sales. So see how the tape is now sort of stalling, and then we're seeing some speed. Bam! I'm sure you see that. This one you have to see it. Did you see you so that you saw that burst of speed, and you even saw some block orders there, and with negative delta, they were red, and you saw that price capitulation. That indicates a bottom, and that's something that you fade. When you see that, you immediately hit hard because you're going to get at least some sort of bounce. But then I'm pausing it again. Look at the offers. Look at how there's some size, like real size. 4x or 5x, 5 times the normal size on the offers there at 87.4, 87.3. And that's indicating, you know, that there will be more sell pressure. So, and it stayed heavy. So even though we got that huge volume capitulation, which on the chart, let's go to the chart. Where are we? Charts. Um, on the chart, it looks like this. It's this huge volume candle. But then we didn't bounce. So it stayed heavy and it didn't bounce much. So if we are fading that, we probably got a small winner, but when it came back down, then we're stopping out again. And even though that volume capitulation was huge, this thing should be flying up the ladder right now, and it's not. And so that's the first indication that even though we had that price capitulation and volume capitulation, it looks like this level could be taken out. And then we get a second one and it doesn't bounce. And now we're seeing, you see how it basically keeps capitulating and it doesn't bounce. And then, it bounces a little bit, but it doesn't fly up. You're supposed to see, when you see that type of burst of speed, like this one, for example, this thing should take 2, maximum 3 seconds and then start flying up the ladder. And we haven't seen that happen. So that's a sign. And now we've seen 3 times already extreme volume capitulation, extreme burst of speed on the tape, some bouncing as we can see it here, but it's not flying up the ladder. So this makes for, I guess, a good scalp. I mean, what was the low there? I think it went into the 60s, I guess. We're already 20 points up. So but no, it didn't go to the 60s, just the low 80s. And now back down again, you see, aggressively. So more block orders, the tape is stalled again, and now it's going to start making. You see how, bam, 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 look at that. Incredible, incredible, bam. This is huge. I'm pausing it again. This is, real volume capitulation. The price is not lifting. It keeps pushing lower and keeps making lower highs. Bounces a little bit. It has to because of that volume capitulation, but it stays heavy and it keeps coming back down. and then we get more volume capitulation action, and it still keeps pushing. Look at that one. That was extreme, extreme price capitulation down into the low 70s, and volume capitulation, no real bounce. Stay super heavy. It's not flying up the ladder. After that, it should be flying up the ladder, and it keeps pushing downward. So now we have this extreme, it's all in relative terms, right? This extreme tape that's like volume capitulation on repeat, right? And look at that. We keep getting those bursts of speed. We getting all those block orders coming in. Same thing is happening in silver right next to it, obviously, but it's here. And we don't see the chart in gold, but it's going to look very similar to what this chart in silver, sort of. It's like just heading down, bam, 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 bam. But now, how are we going to find the bottom of that? We need to see even more dramatic, even more um, extreme volume, volume and price capitulation on top of what we're already seeing. We need to see that in order to find the bottom. Um, because now this is a new normal. And Mike Bellafiore, when he talks about tape, the one principle he keeps using all the time. Here we're getting some bounce action. Is you want to see a change of character on the tape. This is a new character on the tape. So it's not enough now just to see a burst of speed. You need to see a true change in character from this to now find the bottom. This one seems to be even more extreme, but we didn't get price capitulation yet. So you want to see price capitulation and volume capitulation, extreme, both happening at the same time. And it keeps staying heavy. We did get a sizable bounce a little bit earlier, and I think I remember how that looks on the chart. But now it keeps coming back down, keeps staying heavy, keeps pushing lower, keeps wanting to make lower highs. So we still don't have a bottom. Here it is pushing up higher. Let me see how where we are here at the chart. So this was at 1030.20. Yeah, so we're still here. We're still here. So this is that little bounce that we saw there on the tape. Now we're still here, and we still have more to go until we get this flush here. I'm gonna go through the whole thing. You don't have to watch this if you don't want, but I'm going it. I'm just doing it to because I save it and I keep it for my record. So um, it's not bouncing yet. So we know we have it, 3 or 4 minutes ago. Um, but you see how it keeps, well, you can't see because we have the window there. But let's see here, the ladder resets. See how it keeps making lower highs, pushing lower, making lower highs. We see again, look at that, huge volume capitulation, bursts of speed on the tape, a lot of block orders coming in, but it doesn't look any different from what we've been seeing for the last 5 minutes, and it's still not bouncing. Bounces a little every time we get a burst of speed. It bounces a little. All of that can be sort of scalped, but still, it keeps come backing down, keeps pushing, stays heavy, keeps pushing, and then makes tries to make lower highs. So at this point, obviously, this is like when people see something like this happening, everybody's there waiting for the bottom. So there'll be a lot of people trying to pick the bottom, and then getting wrecked along, while it keeps making lower highs. A lot of this is new shorts being trapped. and then squeezes further lower, and then it flushes lower on because it's using those new shorts that are being trapped to, they capitulate and then it pushes it lower. Um, but everybody in the markets, this was the move that was, so everybody there is just literally, you know, trying to pick the bottom of this thing because they know that once that bottom is put in, it's going to be the biggest trade of the day. More price capitulation there. Sorry, more volume capitulation, no real price capitulation. At some point here, very near, we're going to see what that really looks like relative to what we've been seeing so far. And I would say it's here. I'm not. This looks pretty. That was a bit of a change of character in the tape. I don't know if it's here. And now we're seeing it fly up. Let me just. Oh, now I have the chart up here. So when did I put the chart up? Okay, so um, now I don't have to go to the other chart. So, but that was it. That was it. I don't know if you saw it. Again, it's subtle, but let's play it back. So, bam, bam. That was it. That was it. Because we got it's not so much the speed, it's the change in character, then how that quickly that acceleration happens. That's the tell. That combined with the sudden price. Here we get, still happening, and the sudden price capitulation. That's the tell. That was here, bam. And now, and you cross-reference with the chart, and you see that volume building, that volume candle is building there. And now you're seeing it fly up the ladder and look at the volume candle. And if you can see that volume, it's a 5 second, right? You see that volume candle is now similar to the first capitulation that happened here. And it's happens, it's about the speed at which it happens. It happens so quickly. Um, and now this thing is flying up the ladder. And that was a bottom. And the curious thing there is that when we got that final volume capitulation, we didn't get the block orders. There weren't many block orders in there. It was just the speed of the tape that gave us the tell. So and now well, it's bouncing. It's up 10 points. 10 points in gold is a lot. Um, and this is where I would be confident because you see it's not, it looks like it's staying heavy, but it's not. But the manner in which it flew up the ladder in combination with that like snap burst of speed, um, gives me a lot of confidence. And oh, this is important. Okay, and it looks a little bit heavy, but it's not pushing towards, it's not pushing towards towards the bottom. It's not trying to make a new low, which is important. But here, what we just saw there is important. After we've seen that, there's a point there. I don't know if you see it. It's very subtle. Here, there, we see the ladder skip up and down a little bit, like it looks glitchy, and the tape is stalled, and it looks glitchy. When you see that happening, you see how it looks like all of a sudden it's like it's like looking both ways. It doesn't know where to go, and it kind of like looks like jittery. That I'm not sure if this is going to happen, but it should. When you see that happening, it'll take maybe 2 or 3 seconds, and we'll see this thing pop or flush. It's usually we see this behavior in the ladder when it's about to fly in one direction or another. Um, this in combination with a stall tape, and you see how it's like a very erratic, fast and erratic, but not the tape. When you see that in a ladder, it's about to make a huge momentum, not huge, but a big push, it's gonna fly 10 points, something like that. And I guess we're seeing it here a little bit. And when that happens and it confirms direction, then it's like that's it. That's the bottom. There's no question. Um, and obviously, well, if you go by the chart, obviously we get the flush here, capitulation, bottom here, and now this is the V basically. The right side of the V is this lower high here, and now, even if you look this on a 1 minute chart, this is already taking out the previous bars. So this is already turning. Um, and that's it. And now we have a huge trade because we have all this stuff to cover, all this distance, all this range to cover for the mean reversion back up into this area. So a lot of edge on that trade. Anyway, this video is already too long, but that's since you're not able to see this on your platform, it gives you an idea of how this. Look at that. Look at all the size stacked up here on the offers. I guess because they think this is going to be the top of this, all these people are going to run over if they get filled. Which is the same thing that was happening on the way down. People trying to catch the bottom, and then they were wrecked. Same thing's probably going to happen here. This probably does indicate that we're going to get a little retracement or a little pullback here, a little flush into a higher low, but then continue upwards. Whatever. I'm going to stop this video here.